Good, happy Tuesday morning. It is Tuesday, January 14, 2025. I'm Riley King, and welcome to WRMK News with Riley King. Let's get started right now with a look at your local news. First up, New Hampshire Red Cross volunteers helped California wildfire evacuees. Let's take a listen to that report from WMUR News 9.
We have about 3 trained Red Cross volunteers from New Hampshire that are responding now to the wildfires in California.
They're headed to help out at one of 8 Red Cross shelters taking in evacuees from the LA fires.
Many of these evacuees have lost everything.
Dan Dowling says they have supplies ready to go, stationed around the country.
The tricky part is getting the supplies to where they need to go, and a lot of our Red Cross volunteers are involved with distribution.
So far, volunteers have provided nearly 14,000 meals and snacks to 900 evacuees who turned to the Red Cross for shelter after abruptly leaving their homes.
We brought, our box of important papers, and we really had definitely intended to go back.
Robert and Athena Garrett fought to save their Altadena home of 30 years before they had to evacuate.
I just wasn't going to go down without a fight.
When they couldn't fend off the flames, the Garretts and so many others like them left with the clothes on their backs, not knowing it would be their last chance to pack their belongings. Dowling says the Red Cross volunteers are there to help people like the Garretts who are facing a lot of uncertainty.
As Californians cope with the massive destruction of these wildfires, we now have more than 350 trained Red Cross workers from across the country helping to ensure that no one faces this heartbreaking time alone.
Dowling says they have more volunteers ready to go if needed. All of this, he says, is only possible thanks to the generosity of people who donate. We're live in the studio tonight. Isabel Litters, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Former YDC worker found guilty of sexual assault. Let's take a listen to that report from WMUR.
That former employee worked at the YDC in the late 90s, and after testimony wrapped up here in court last week, he was found guilty today.
How do you find the defendant, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty. A second former employee from the Youth Development Center in Manchester has been found guilty of sexually assaulting 2 teenage boys while he was working there.
You say that he's guilty, Madam Foreperson. So say you all, members of the jury.
After 3 guilty counts of aggravated felonious sexual assault, Stanley Watson was handcuffed as he was escorted out of the courtroom.
So obviously they paid a lot of attention throughout the trial, and it's our belief that they returned a just verdict here today.
During the trial, 2 victims testified that Watson groomed them, one saying that he felt obligated to continue having sex with him after Watson became his foster parent.
The documentary evidence, in our opinion, was corroborative of their testimony and was helpful, but it certainly would never take the place of the testimony from our victims.
Prosecutors say that it was that testimony from the victims that was critical to getting that guilty verdict.
Without the testimony that we had from the victims who were brave to come into the courtroom and tell us what happened to them, we would not have been able to have the verdict we have here today.
We also heard from the Attorney General himself. He said that he believes this conviction is an important step toward justice. In Manchester, Ariel Metropolis, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. Londonderry family reunited with a cat found in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Let's take a listen to that report from WMUR News 9. And Doug.
A Londonderry family is reunited with their beloved cat 8 months after she disappeared.
And this was a call they were not expecting to get. The best friend named Kamiko was alive and somehow in Ann Arbor, Michigan. They still have no clue how she got there. A local shelter scanned Kamiko for a microchip, and they were able to trace it back to the family.
I want to try to increase the awareness, so if people are like well-meaning and like, oh, we found a stray, can we keep it, Mom and Dad? Sure, but let's bring it to a vet and scan it first, because it might have torn its collar off, which those little banana heads do on the regular, and it might actually belong to somebody that desperately wants it back.
Kamiko is an indoor cat now, as you can imagine. Her owner says she cuddles with them every chance she gets, and she's developed a different meow. Maybe like a Midwest accent. Great reminder here for pet owners. Make sure the information on the microchip is up to date.
Very important, and just so important to have that microchip in there, too.
For sure.
Incredible that she was in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
How did she get there? That's mystery.
Wow, amazing story there. 1 dead, 2 injured following a crash on I-95 in Portsmouth Monday night. Let's take a listen to that report from WMUR News 9.
And we begin here after the game with the breaking news. Another deadly crash on 95 on the seacoast. Thanks for joining us. I'm Steve Otari.
And I'm Monica Hernandez. The crash happened just after 6:30 tonight in the southbound lanes at exit 3B, shutting down the highway for hours. It has just reopened. WMUR's Maria Wilson is there live with what we know so far, Maria.
Well, Monica, Steve, we have learned just moments ago that one person has died in that 3-car crash here in Portsmouth. We are overlooking I-95 southbound around exit 3B, where that crash has shut down the highway for hours. It has since reopened just moments ago. Police say this all happened shortly before 7 o'clock tonight. They received reports of a smoking vehicle, and when they arrived, they found a multi-car crash involving 3 people. Emergency medical services arrived, and they took 3 people to a nearby hospital. Despite life-saving efforts, a man involved in that crash died at the hospital. 2 women were treated for injuries that are believed to be minor. The highway was closed for several hours as police investigated that crash. Again, the road has since reopened. It appears the traffic is moving normally. Police are asking if anybody has seen the crash or they know anything about the crash. You are asked to call state police. We're live in Portsmouth. Maria Wilson, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that report. That's a look at your local news. Now we're going to switch gears and take a look at some national news right now. And in your national news, cockpit warning prevents Delta and United planes from colliding over Phoenix Airport. Let's take a listen to that report from ABC News.
The other major news this Monday night into that terrifying close call between 2 passenger jets, a Delta and a United jet approaching the Phoenix airport. The computers in their cockpits suddenly warning that they were seconds from colliding. Gio Benitez covers aviation.
Tonight, stunning images showing 2 jets on a mid-air collision course as they're coming in for landing at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport. Justin Giddens recording from down below.
My first reactions were just shocked and surprised that 2 commercial airliners with hundreds of people on them were on a converging path.
The plane on the top is a United flight from San Francisco carrying 123 passengers. Below, a Delta Airlines flight from Detroit with 245 passengers. Watch this flight radar animation showing the planes nearly colliding on Saturday morning. According to data from Flight Radar 24, the planes coming incredibly close to each other at one point within 875 feet vertically and about 1,200 feet horizontally. That Delta plane going at 275 miles an hour. The only thing apparently stopping the planes from colliding, an onboard anti-collision system blaring in the flight deck. The commands heard on air traffic control audio.
We do have runway 8 at tonight. Cleared.
The Delta pilot then deciding to cancel their landing approach and go around. Both flights then circling before landing safely.
Normally, aircraft shouldn't get within a mile of each other. In this case, they were less than 1,000 feet. So the technology on board both aircraft, sensing that they were within seconds of a mid-air collision, told one aircraft to climb and one aircraft to descend, thus preventing a tragedy.
And David, the question tonight, if that alert system hadn't gone off, would the pilots have known that they were that close to each other? Both Delta and United say that those pilots listened to that warning, and now the FAA is investigating. David?
Really startling stuff. Gio Benitez tonight. Gio, thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that report. We're going to switch gears now, and let's go into your weather. And taking a look at your weather right now. Today, partly cloudy, high 31 degrees, winds west-northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy after midnight, low near 20 degrees, winds west-northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, high 27 degrees, winds northwest at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And it's currently partly cloudy and 25 degrees right now. And now we're going to take a quick check of your traffic and see how the traffic is looking like on this Tuesday morning. And checking out those roadways right now. 93 heading into Massachusetts, a nice smooth sailing ride with some medium-paced traffic. 293, a nice smooth sailing ride around the Manchester area. 93 around Hooksett, Bow, and Concord, nice smooth sailing ride as well. 393, a nice smooth sailing ride as well. Route 4 around Epsom, Northwood, Lee, and Durham, nice smooth sailing ride with some medium-paced traffic. Route 16 of the Spalding, not too bad of a ride, some areas of medium-paced traffic there. 95, not too bad of a ride as well. 101, not too bad of a ride as well. And Merrimack, now into that border, Massachusetts, not too bad of a ride over there as well. Let's look at your traffic, and that's it for this edition of WRMK News with Riley King. Thank you for tuning in and listening, and see you back here tomorrow morning for another broadcast. Bye.